Before we hear from today's terrific speakers, Chelsea Strakman and Aleks Peets, I've asked Janice McVesky to perform a short piece on her harp. So thank you, Janice. First, Chelsea Strakman, and then Aleks Peets.
The miracle is not that I finished. The miracle is that I had the courage to start. John Bingham. Blair is a school filled with highly skilled athletes who will go on to compete at the college level at Division I schools, making big names for themselves in the world of their respective sports. I've never considered myself to be a huge athlete. I'm a four-year senior, and I will be graduating this May with one varsity letter, which I only earned for being a senior on the cross-country team. Sports were never a huge part of my life growing up. I spent my middle school days on the stage, dancing my heart out and gaining life points from my audience's applause. However, in June of 2013, some sort of switch went off in my head, and I wanted to run. I wanted to run as far as I could for as long as I could. I wanted to prove to myself that I was capable of trying something new and succeeding at it. I wanted to push myself to do something that I had always dreaded and feared. I spent the entire summer leading up to junior year running. Whether it was on the beach at 7 a.m. or by the river at 7 p.m., I was determined to fit a run into my day, even if it meant waking up early to avoid the summer heat and the South Carolina humidity. I then made the bold decision to email Mr. Browse and tell him I planned on running cross country in the fall and that he could count on me to be back at Blair for preseason. At the time, I had no idea that running would have such a huge impact on my life. November 9th, 2013, junior year petty day. My shoelaces untied after the first half mile, and sweat was dripping down my forehead even in the cool autumn air. My feet continuously pounded against the pavement, one at a time, at a pace I had never moved at before. My chest was expanding in and out with every deep breath I took to keep moving forward. I remember seeing the track in the distance. This was the glorious light at the end of the tunnel. Only a quarter mile left in my last race of the season. I remember letting out a sigh of relief, but the sigh incidentally threw off my breathing pattern quite a bit. So I slowly trotted around the track, figuring there was no way I was anywhere close to beating my personal record. I was one of the slowest runners on Blair's girls cross-country team, and I had yet to finish a race in less than 30 minutes all season. I was exhausted from running 3 miles, and I just wanted to kick off my sneakers and enjoy the rest of the day. But as I got closer to the last straightaway of the track, I caught a glimpse at the clock. 28:52. My eyes widened, and my legs must have magically turned into wheels, because I made it to the finish line in 6 seconds. 28:58. 28 minutes and 58 seconds. I had shattered 30. I had made it past 29, and I did better than I ever thought I would. I had beat my personal record by 1 minute and 10 seconds, and I had decreased my time from my first race by a whole 7 minutes. I tumbled to the ground shortly after finishing the race, and all I could do was smile. This was the proudest I had ever been of myself, and I cherished that race in my head as one of the highest points of my life. Fast forward. It's now spring of 2015, and it is safe for me to say that my life has had its fair share of ups and downs ever since that day in November of 2013. With all of the stress and responsibilities that come with being a senior up Blair, combined with a long-term knee injury that had gotten progressively worse, I took a break from running as soon as the fall cross-country season came to a close. I went through a particularly rough period this past winter, and it was possibly the lowest and worst I have ever felt in my life. I found myself in a slump I just could not escape. I'd stopped trying, I avoided homework like the plague, and I even managed to skip 12 days of weight training. Sorry about that, Mr. Nall. In this difficult time period of my life, I ended up making some shameful decisions. Decisions that I would do anything to take back. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't mean to blame my mistakes on my poor mental health state. If anything, the poor choices I made only made my mindset worse. However, this speech is not about all the mistakes I've made. This speech is about how I bounced back from them. To quote Harvard Law School graduate, class of 2004, and a fellow blonde-haired, blue-eyed, empowering woman, Elle Woods. Exercise gives you endorphins. Endorphins make people happy. Happy people don't shoot their husbands. They just don't. I may not have wanted to shoot my husband during this past winter, but it is safe to say that my lack of exercise was not helping my mental state. After looking back on all the poor choices I had made in the short span of 2 months, I knew I had to get out of this treacherous rut that I seemed to be stuck in. Out of nowhere, that same switch that went off in my head back before junior year was flicked on again, and my brain was telling me to start running and working out again. I tied my laces for the first time in months and forced myself to get some miles in. Although I could not run as fast as I did on Petty Day 2013, I channeled the feeling that I had after that glorious race, and I pushed myself to keep going. The gym was my happy place once again, and running became my medicine. It is what got me out of my rut, and my Petty Day race is what motivated me not to stop. I began to crawl out of the trench that I had been stuck in. I found myself smiling more and working harder. I know now that to maintain my happy and positive persona, I need to take care of myself. I need to push myself to go on that run, even when I don't want to, and to make my way over to the gym, even when I'm one episode away from the season 4 finale of Dexter. And those who have seen it will testify for me that it is nearly impossible to draw yourself away from season 4 of Dexter. I need to remember how I felt on November 9th, 2013, after breaking my personal record and feeling so accomplished. I want every day to feel like I've just ran past a petty girl and beaten her on her own turf. I think everyone should have that feeling. Everyone should have their own metaphorical win against a petty cross-country runner. Everyone should know what it feels like to break their personal record. It's a feeling I'd want even my worst enemy to experience. It's something to be proud of, and something to push yourself out of bed when all you want to do is hide from the world around you. I had no clue that in June of 2013, something as simple as just putting in my headphones, tying my sneakers, and going for a jog would help me find the light in my life after being lost in the dark. I never would have thought that one simple race would be such an important accomplishment for me. My choice to start running before junior year only helped me out in the long run. The miracle was not that I finished the race against Petty, or that I found my way out of a dark time in my life. The miracle was that I had the courage to start running and to force myself to find a way back into the light. Thank you to everyone who supported me this year. And now, Aleks Peets.
As many of you already know from my rhetorical analysis of the song Mercy by Kanye West, I'm a huge proponent of rap music. Unfortunately, I won't be analyzing a song this time around, but I would like to begin with a quote from the song Live Your Life by the rapper T.I. Never mind what the haters say, ignore them till they fade away. Now I like to think that I don't have that many haters, but it is inevitable that some people may not like me for one reason or another. And to be honest, that's your loss. Either way, once I graduate, I'd like to be remembered as the funny, ridiculous, friendly, mostly ridiculous kid without a first name. Now, I could bore you with some long, drawn-out speech with some conveniently placed quotes and important life lessons, but we've collectively heard enough of those speeches in our lives. So in honor of the month after National Poetry Month, I'm going to recite a poem that I wrote. All right, it's been a while since convocation, and it's almost time for graduation. Peets is ready to take over this nation, so close I can almost taste it. It's amazing the persuasion we need because we're lackadaising. Blair's senioritis is quite deadly, the invisible contagion. In 1492, Doc Miller sailed the ocean blue. But we know that it is true, the life that I've been through would someday put me up in here next to you. Too bad we're going to college because this year's been breakthrough. The students at Blair are great. I don't even need to stress it. And I hope we last these next few months without getting arrested. Our teachers gave us lots of work, and it was very stressful. And they pushed us to our limits so we could be successful. And I believe the best of times are still yet to come. Every time you close a door behind you, you open a new one. Thank you. Now, back to the haters. Earlier this year, the informative Blair Life taught me what it meant to throw shade. For those of you who don't know, the Urban Dictionary defines it as to talk trash about a friend or acquaintance. I began to second guess myself. Is it possible that I have haters? And the moment I asked myself that question, a certain memory popped back into my head. I vividly remembered that one time during my sophomore year when Mr. Dorr once gave me a stern look during crew practice, and from then on, I knew exactly what throwing shade meant. And then it hit me. I finally realized why my vision is so impaired. God gave me the rare opportunity to wear spectacles. It may have taken 10 years of wearing glasses to realize this, but it all makes sense now. Glasses have given me the ability to block out all of my haters. In return, this unique talent gave me the opportunity to enjoy my years at Blair without any interference from my haters. And now I'm going to share with you what I've learned from this experience of life. The Blair bubble, delicious fruit, bananas. Many of you may be wondering why I brought a banana up with me to the podium. And that is a completely valid question. And now it is time to answer that question. See, I'd like to rhetorically analyze and compare this banana to the Blair community. The actual fruit of the banana can be compared to the student body. It is the most important part of the fruit, and it can make or break the overall taste. Personally, I believe that the Blair banana is one of the tastiest ones out there. And although our banana may have a few bruises, they have not affected the overall taste. Now, remember, what's on the inside isn't all that counts. Blair's administration and faculty can be compared to the peel of the banana. Although it may not taste as good, the peel is essential to the growth of the fruit, and it protects the banana from any possible harm. This symbiotic relationship between the peel and the banana is what differentiates bananas from other fruits and separates Blair from other high schools across the nation. The important thing to understand is that once we all go on our separate ways, we need to maintain the banana mentality as we try to make a difference in this world. Success can be measured in many different ways. Whether it be making it to graduation or getting a job or winning the lottery, everybody has a different definition of success. As we all move on past Blair, I'm going to remember all the great friends and memories I've made, and all the various ways that Blair's prepared me for the future. And remember, there is only one way to ensure success in whatever you do, and that is to ignore the haters until they fade away. Embrace the banana, Peets out.